From Caterpillars to Butterflies, episode 40, How to Slay Your Goals.
Welcome to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies Personal Growth Podcast. Just like the caterpillar is destined to become a butterfly, you too are designed for a beautiful transformation. This is where you go to grow and transform your life. And now, here's your host, Certified Life Coach, Charlene Dior.
Hey, this is Charlene, your host of the From Caterpillars to Butterflies Personal Growth Podcast, where we talk about all things personal growth. If it can help you grow, we will likely be covering it right here on the show. And today we're going to help you grow your goals. How to slay, yes, honey, your goals is the topic for this week's podcast. So we're in October. We're ending the year. And if you're like most people, you, myself included, y'all, because last year a girl was looking kind of fit and fine. And then this year a girl got some extra rolls. I traveled quite a bit at the end of last year. And for some reason, traveling to me means eating and sleeping. And so I just really got off the bandwagon and been trying to pick myself back up ever since. But, you might also be having an area of your life that you have been wanting to make some progress on and you really haven't. And so I want to talk about how you can do that. Or maybe you just have some goals that you've been sitting on and you really haven't even tried to accomplish yet, right? But before we get started on slaying your goals, I want to make it clear that you have to know what you actually want, so we talked about one of the very early episodes on having a vision for your life. So if you don't know what you want yet, then you're not ready for this episode. You want to go back and listen to the episode on vision, or you want to read the book From Caterpillar to Butterfly, Transform the Life You Have into the Life You Love, which actually made the Amazon bestsellers list. Didn't sell that many copies, but it made the list, okay? What else? Or you might want to do some personality tests like Myers-Briggs or things like that to really figure out what your vision is. Because if you don't have a solid understanding of what you're working towards, I can tell you some tips and tricks on how to achieve your goals, but you're going to go chase the wrong goal. You're going to go achieve the wrong thing, or you're going to accomplish things that don't really get you to what the overarching vision for your life, this season of your life, really is. So you want to get crystal clear on what your vision is first. And so you can do that on the podcast. There's a section in the book that talks about it. And then there's other resources online. But you want to get clear on that first. Okay. And so once you have a clear understanding of what the vision is for this season of your life, and it could be in multiple areas, right? So it could be losing weight. It could be getting married. It could be starting a business or changing careers or getting closer to God. It could be a lot of different things, but you just kind of have to know what it is that you're really going after before you can actually start to set your goals. Okay. So step one, know your vision. If you don't know your vision, you're not ready for this yet, okay? So let's assume that you know the vision. You know what your plan is, where you're headed. Step two is to know what you need next. So accomplishing your goals is this delicate balance of managing two things. You are managing your long-term vision against your short-term strategy. What that means is that you have a vision for the future. For 5 years down the line, or 10 years down the line, or 3 years down the line, you have some vision, or even a year down the line, right? You have some vision for what you want to achieve somewhere down the line, right? But you have to have your eye on the vision, but also have your eye on what's in front of you. And most people can't do that effectively, right? Because what happens is that if you are so stuck on where you're going, and you're not paying attention, or you're stuck on where you want to be and you're not really paying attention to where you are now and whether what you're doing now is going to actually get you to where you want to be, or you get so miserable and kind of depressed because you're not where you want to be. And so you can't even stay on the journey because you are discouraged and it's not worth it. And so being overly focused on the vision, it's like you have to man, I saw this on I think Tia and Tamara, when they used to have their reality show. And I think Adam had told Tamara something about baseball, like when you're up at the batter and you want to hit the ball, you look up at it, but then you got to look away or something, right? And so like if you're too focused on the ball, then you might miss it because you can't be bitter and discouraged and upset and actually achieve the vision, right? So you want to know what the vision is, but then you want to also be able to come back to the present to know, what do I need next? So you're balancing long-term goal with short-term needs. The other thing is that if you have a goal for 3 years down the line, you want to buy a house. If you're not paying attention to where you are now, then you don't know what the gap is that you have to close, because there are other milestones that you need to be hitting along the way. If your goal is to buy a house in 3 years, you might need to clean up your credit. You might need to save a certain amount of money. And so you have to, you can't ignore where you are. You have to know where you are and also know where you're going. And you can't just ignore your future and only focus on today, because then you won't build a future at all. You'll just be walking around haphazardly. So there's a delicate balance between managing and balancing the short term and balancing it with the long term. Brad Bood said winners must have two things: definite goals and a burning desire to achieve them. So you got to know what your goals are, and you have to have a strong passion for actually achieving them. Okay, so you want to know what you need next. Again, I kind of already went over this. Wasn't explicit with it, but you want to break down what it is that you need next. So buying a house, next you might need to clean up your credit, or next you might need to save $1,000 and then $2,000 and then $3,000. You have to know what it is that you need next. A lot of people get tripped up on this because they're focused on something that they need like 10 steps down the line, and they're not taking care of what they need in the short term. When I wanted to buy a rental property, I only focused on how to get the money, because when you buy a house that you're going to live in, you can get an FHA loan with 3.5% down. Okay, that's easy. But if you're going to buy a house that you're not going to live in, you have to get a conventional loan, which requires 20 to 25% down, right? So if you're going to buy a $100,000 house, then you need 20 to 25K plus another 10K for closing costs, plus whatever you need for repairs. And I'm like, girl, ain't got that kind of money, okay? Like, I'm like in my mid-20s, I ain't got that kind of money. So how can I buy a house without putting 20% down? That was my focus. When I went to the bookstore to study, that's what I studied, how to get the money. When I called people, I called mortgage brokers. I called people and asked them, how can I get the money? I wasn't worried about who my general contractor was going to be for the repairs. I wasn't worried about doing background checks on the tenant. I was only worried about, how am I going to get the money? And when I got the money, I focused on finding a house. So you have to know what you need next, not what you're going to need someday, but you have to know what you need next. What is the thing that is stopping you from moving forward right now? If it's money, focus only on the money. If it's traffic to your website or your social media pages, just focus on driving traffic. Focus on strategies to get you traffic. Don't focus on how to give refunds. Like, you don't need that right now, So focus on what you need next. Identify what you need next. So you know what your overarching vision is. And so that was step 1. Step 2 is to know what's the next phase of what you need to do that will move you in the direction of. And then from there, you will set your goals. You will set specific goals based off of where you want to go long term. What's the next thing you need to get you moving in that direction? So now, what are the goals, right? So going with the web traffic example. So long term, someone might say, I want to have $1 million business and whatever, right? And so then what I need next is that I need to get people's eyeballs on my stuff. Okay, so then what's the goal? The goal is to drive X amount of traffic or increase my website visits or grow my social media profiles. So then your goal gets more specific. You may have heard the concept of a SMART goal: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So you're going to create your goals based off of what you need next to reach the vision. And your goals are going to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Meaning you're going to build traffic to your website or increase traffic to your website. How much? 20%, right? That's the measurable part. Attainable, it can actually be done. Realistic, it can actually be done at this time. Timely, what's the deadline? I'm going to grow my website by 20% in 90 days. And maybe that is attainable, right? I'm going to be a millionaire in 90 days? Probably not too realistic. Okay, I'm going to be a trillionaire by the time I die. Maybe that's not quite attainable. Okay, but for most people, SMART goals are going to be your friend. They're going to help set you up for success and keep you on track. So that was number 3. Set your goals. Set your goals high and don't stop till you get there. Bo Jackson. Number 4, you need to understand your goal slaying style or your goal achieving style. I've had people tell me that I wasn't Tony Robbins. Like, screw you, okay? And on the other hand, I've had people tell me that I was playing too small. So a lot of people will have opinions about what you're doing and how you're doing it and when you're doing it. So you have to know for yourself, like, who am I? How do I slay goals on my own terms? Okay, so think about it in terms of paying off debt. Say you have 10 outstanding debts. One of them $75 and the highest is $10,000. And they have different interest rates in the middle, right? Some people might say, well, I want to pay off the $75 one. It's the lowest one. I could do it. And then I'll only have 9 outstanding debts instead of 10. I'll feel like I'm making progress. Some other people might say, I could pay that $75 off in my sleep. I ain't fixing to do it. Or they'll keep putting it off. Like, oh, I'm going to pay the $75 off when I get paid. And then when they get paid, because they know that there's no real rush, because they can pay it off at any time, then they go buy a new pair of shoes, right? So for some people, having a small, quick win is what will give them energy, is what will give them confidence, is what will get them on track. For other people, a small win is not worth getting out of bed for. They're like, I could just do that anytime. It's not that meaningful. And so for them, they might want to go after the 10,000 one because they're like, I have no idea how I'm going to get that $10,000 paid off. I just don't know. And so when they're getting ready to buy those $75 shoes, they could say, I really have no idea how I'm going to get this 10,000 off. So I'm just going to put this 75 on this 10K because I don't know what I'm going to do. And for those people, having something that is just, I don't know how I'm going to do this, will motivate them. But you have to know what's going to motivate you, because if you do it the opposite way, or there's other ways that you could slay a goal, but if you do it in a way, or if you're trying to do it in a way that doesn't match your style, it could sabotage your success, right? And so someone telling me that I'm playing too small, and I might be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I better go mortgage out my house and, guess I better go quit my job tomorrow because I got to play big, right? And then I would kind of be setting myself up to fail, trying to be someone that I'm not, because I am the person who likes a quick win. That's why when I'm trying to lose weight, I always go to a low carb. Like, maybe not forever, but for that first month or so, because low carb works for me, I see quick stuff quickly. Me working out one time, I bought a workout DVD and I was so excited. I watched the infomercial. People were dropping, 10, 15, 25 pounds in 3 days. And I was like, yes. And I was so excited. And I got it. And I was working out it was like a 9-week program. I did 7 weeks. I ain't lose not 1 pound. Maybe I lost inches, but I ain't lose not 1 pound. And I was so defeated. I mean, it's amazing that I lasted 7 weeks, but I was so defeated. I would be in my living room working out, crying. Like, why is it this weight coming off? Because I'm beating myself up for an hour every day and nothing's happening. So I'm the person who needs to see a quick win so that I can keep going. Someone else might need their goals to be so big and audacious for them to even make an attempt. But if you're trying to do it the wrong way, that doesn't match you set yourself up to fail. So know, how do you slay goals? What's your style? Think about the things that you have accomplished in the past. How did you accomplish them? How did you approach it? Did you go for the big one? Did you go for the easy one? Was it slow and steady? Was it running out the gate on steroids? Like, how do you slay goals? Think about your last wins, your last accomplishments. Look for the patterns on how you've done it. And if you've set goals and you haven't achieved them, look for the patterns. What makes me achieve a goal versus what makes me not achieve a goal? And understand what your style is and leverage that style going forward. So that is number 4. Know your goal slaying style. So number 5, you're going to create a strategy, because you're creating a strategy based off of your style. So you know your goals, you know your vision, you know what you need next, you know how you best conquer goals. So now you devise the strategy around all of those things to set yourself up for success. What's your strategy? And from there, you take your strategy and you separate it into tactics. So strategy is your overarching plan, and your tactics are the smaller actions that you're going to take to get there. So a strategy might be, going back to the example of generating more traffic to your website. So a strategy might be leveraging search engine optimization to bring free traffic to Google. Like, that's my strategy. I want to increase my organic traffic specifically. The tactics might be keyword research. It might be article writing. It might be link building. So all of those tactics ladder up to the strategy of having a strong SEO, which ladders up to the goal of driving more traffic to the site. So that was number 5 and 6. And after you have outlined your strategy and the tactics that you're going to leverage, you want to actually implement them. Now you want to start taking action. Do what you need to do. Do your keyword research, write your articles, build your links, start exercising, eat your food that you're supposed to eat, right? So you want to actually put things into action, and you want to monitor so that you can adjust as needed. So now you're analyzing the results of your actions. If the plan doesn't work, you change the plan, you never change the goal. So you're not going to say, oh, my goal is to build traffic, but this link building and keyword research isn't really helping me, so I guess I'll go start on building a course now, right? Or maybe I'll go get my MBA now, right? Like, you don't change the plan. You don't change the goal, you change the plan. So you try something else. And this is one of the things that I think that we don't really fully grasp either when it comes to accomplishing our goals. You have to always be testing. Someone could give you the exact process that they used that made them millions or whatever, and you could put it into place and it not work for you the exact same way. When I first started blogging, multiple people said, oh, give it a year and a half, your blog will take off. Man, I was looking at my traffic the other day, and I can't remember the specifics, but it took at least 6 months for Google to even send me any organic traffic. And when they did, it was like 20 that month, right? So maybe 10 years ago when this person started their blog, it was different because there was less people out there, right? But now it's not the same. So someone could tell you exactly what they did and it not work for you. So you have to be of the mindset that I'm testing and learning. You could be trying low carb because Charlene said that it's a quick win and doesn't work for you. That doesn't mean that you stop trying to lose weight. It means that you find something else. So you have to be testing. You implement, you take the action, you give it some time being relative to what you're talking about, right? Like if you're trying to lose weight, then you might want to give yourself 2 weeks to see if something's happening. If you're trying to build an SEO strategy, well, you might want to give yourself 3 months before you actually decide anything. So time is relative to what you're working towards, but give yourself some time to implement consistently and then pay attention to what's happening so that you can adjust. Don't assume that you don't have to adjust. See, we think that we can just jump in the car and go down the street and we might not have any course corrections, but assume that you will. So pay attention to what's happening so that you can make the course corrections along the way. And you want to just keep track of your progress, track of what's working, track of what's not working, track of what used to work, but it ain't working no more. So you got to figure something else out. Pay constant attention to how you're doing so that you can analyze and make the right adjustments. And from there, keep going. Keep implementing, keep analyzing, keep adjusting over and over again. As you hit different milestones, you might want to celebrate yourself along the way and keep doing that until you achieve your goal. And when you achieve your goal, set another one. Don't ever get comfortable and stay still. So move on to the next goal. So that is how you can slay your goal. You know what the vision is, the long-term overarching vision you have for this season of your life or your career or your relationship. You know what you need next to move you in the direction of that overarching vision. And then you set goals based off of where you're going and what you need next. From there, you know and understand your goal slaying style. What type of goal slayer are you? 5, create the strategy. 6, decide on your tactics that ladder up to your strategy. 7, implement, take action. 8, analyze and adjust. 9, optimize. Keep going, keep tracking your progress, keep celebrating yourself along the way. That's how you slay some goals around here. You might need some extra resources. So some people use planners. Planners are so sophisticated. They have so many different things because you could have your planner with your gratitude journal and your affirmations all in one. So if you're someone who likes to have a planner, who likes to write things down, grab you a planner. If you need time management or productivity tips. So you have all these goals, but you're not on track, not for a lack of wanting to, but because you feel like you have too much on your plate. Well, extra resources might be productivity or time management training or classes or resources. Having a coach can help you achieve your goals. Sometimes people don't know what that means. I've had many people contact me about helping them after the loss of a loved one, but that's not coaching. Emotional issues are therapy, but coaching is helping you go to where you want to go in your business, in your life, in your marriage, in your health. You know about fitness coaches, helping you get to where you want to go. So that might be an extra resource for you. And I didn't really put this in one of the steps, but I just touched on it. So I wanted to elaborate a little bit. But know where your weaknesses are and have a plan to circumvent them. Be prepared to circumvent the things that you know have the possibility to throw you off track, right? So if you know you don't have a lot of time, but you want to achieve this goal, then you can map out a strategy to overcome your weaknesses. It's like a SWOT analysis. You have strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses being internal to you, fully within your control. Opportunities and threats being outside of your control. So sometimes you have threats that can keep you from achieving your goal. Your husband could be a threat, right? Like if you're trying to lose weight and your husband is just eat whatever he wants to eat and always has chicken and ice cream in the house, then that could be a threat to you, right? So then you can devise a strategy to overcome the things that you know could throw you off track. Getting your husband on board, asking for help, hiring people to help you with the dishes or whatever if you have a productivity problem, or like I said, taking courses and learning how to manage your time in different ways or leveraging different strategies. So also be mindful of what tools and supplemental resources that you will need along the way to accomplish your goals, and whatever you need to help you stay on track. Because the other piece to all this is consistency and discipline, which goes into number 7 with taking action. But those are things that people really can't give to you or do for you, right? But a coach can help you do it, but people can't give you discipline. They can't give you consistency. You have to do it. So you could do all of this that I just told you, but if you drop the ball on the consistency part, then you just lose all of it. You won't accomplish your goals. So that is what I have for you today, how to slay your goals. I'd love to hear from you. How do you accomplish your goals? When you know you have a big goal in front of you, what are some of the tools and the techniques that you use to help you stay on track? Do you use planners or schedulers or accountability partners? I love to hear from you. You can email me at charlene@fromcaterpillarstobutterflies.com. Until next time, grow and slay on purpose.
Thanks for listening to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies podcast, your one-stop shop for all things personal growth. For today's show notes and even more tools and resources to help you transform the life you have into the life you love, go to www.fromcaterpillarstobutterflies.com.